Hola! Hey, so this is me. I'm gonna try my phone. I have put it in on top of my laptop using my pop socket. Props to pop socket. You guys are awesome. I just want to show you, look at my face. I've lost weight. Fasting is going really well. I can't even eat a full, huge meal. Sorry, I just keep getting distracted. Keep getting all these messages from people. Hopefully they stop. I did turn off my ringer. Anyways, so I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on the fasting. It's going great. I feel good. I put on a size 14 pants on the other day. They are a little bit tight, but I'm doing pretty good considering I was a tight 16 and I put on a size 14 pants and they're fitting. But I kind of wanted to talk about this Momo shit. I am not a mom, but I would love to be one day. And I understand that parenting can be hard. It is a very hard job. I know one of my things in this world, I think I mentioned it in the other video, is that to raise a human being is probably the most hardest thing you can do, and to raise a decent human being is one of the world's greatest accomplishments you can do. But my issue is I'm thankful. Sometimes I feel like PCOS has been a blessing and a curse, because I feel that I was given an opportunity to see this world that we have turned into. I was born in 85, so I was raised with parents who both worked, okay? So don't think they didn't. Both my parents worked. Both my parents had to work. We weren't a rich family, and nor do I ever regret that or have any downfalls on that. Me and my brother, I remember there was times where it was just me and my brother at home, and we had to get shit done. We had our chores, we had our homework, we had to do what we had to do. But it never crossed my mind that a TV screen, or at least I can remember that a TV screen would tell me to do something to myself. It's one of those things where I sit back and wonder, and I feel sorry for these families. Please don't get me wrong, and I know I sound like a total heinous bitch for this thing that's coming out, and I am not trying to disgrade anybody's parenting or anything like that by any means at all. So please do not think that, I know it's not easy. I am not a parent, so I'm not one to judge. This is just my opinion, and I know what I want for my children, because I fucking will have a child. I know what I want for my future of my children, and what I see in society nowadays is exactly not what I want. And so this Momo situation, and this is like the Blue Elephant situation, but I think Blue Elephant was targeted more to teenagers, which, I'm sorry, at a certain age, when you're listening and you're doing these fucking pranks or these challenges, these Blue Elephant challenges or any of this shit, and you think it's okay to hurt yourself, you need help. And there's so much help out there, and I do suggest you seek help. If you, in your head, feel that these challenges are fun, and these challenges to self-hurt, or to hurt other people, or to sabotage your life by any means, you need help, and I do wish you the best, and I hope you do find it. So if you do watch my video, please don't think that they're okay. They're not okay, and you shouldn't think it's okay. But as this Momo thing seems to be targeting a much younger generation, and it's sad. It's extremely sad that this is happening, and I can't believe that there's a sick fuck out there who's doing this. And I just wish that he would stop, because it's stupid. But if anything, I think this is a time for us to wake up. This is a time for us to open our fucking eyes and pay attention to your parenting. I am not degrading, please don't get that wrong, but I'm aggravated, and I'm pissed that parents are not seeing this, and they're blaming Momo. Okay, yes, that's Momo character, which actually is a Japanese art sculpture called Mother Bird, and it was never intended to be scary. The twisted person made it scary. And unfortunately, that's the society that we have. And this is the world that we live in. And this person has figured out that it's okay to prey on children who are glued to their screens and glued to Netflix, and they're glued to these internets and these games and all these things. And I know I'm being kind of a hypocrite right now, considering that I'm making a YouTube video about this. I know that doesn't sound very well. There's my Charlie. I'm reunited at last. Anyways, what I feel is, when does parenting come into question? When your 5-year-old or your 6-year-old or your 2-year-old or whatever age it is thinks that a screen, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be frightened, for fuck's sakes, that's scary. A little kid should be frightened, but they should be running to their parents and have that feeling that I need to talk to my parents or my mom or my dad, because something just came on the screen and it scared me. Not think that this creature that is the fictional computer, the fictional character on a screen, is what is telling your child what to do, and this child feels that they need to get up and cut their hair or take their life or cut themselves or go do something. That's scary. That's a scary thought, to think that your child has more trust and has more fear, and they have more fear for fictional characters than their own parents. At the end of the day, you're a fucking parent, not their friend, and you shouldn't be their enemy, but there should be a little bit of fear and respect from your child. And your child should have a relationship with you, and not feel that it's okay, not feel that it's not okay for them to come and talk to you. It doesn't make sense how, for me, when do you question your parenting? When does that come into play? When your child thinks that it's okay to believe this monster that showed up on Peppa Pig over you? How many times do you have to beg your child, oh, can you please stop doing this? Can you please stop doing that? No, don't ask your child permission. You tell your child, this is how you need them to act for this situation. I understand that people are scared of this whole child services or police or anything like that, and that the fear has been taken away or fear has been given to their parents and things like that. But the thing is, you're still the parent. I'm not saying abuse your child by any means. Do not abuse your children. It's not right. There's no need for it. There's no need for abuse whatsoever. But a stern voice, there's nothing wrong with that. If you can talk to a dog to treat a dog a certain way so the dog listens to you, I'm not saying, again, do not beat animals. I am totally against that shit. But to have a stern voice with an animal, you should be able to have a stern voice with your children. And if your children think that they're better off somewhere else, let them go. Let them go. I'm sorry how many times that I want to run away and then I realize that no, I have a good home. I have good parents. Yes, I understand I was born in 80s. And yes, I understand I didn't have the technology world that we do now. And the cyberbullying and all that stuff. I understand that I didn't have all of that. But I also have friends who raise their children nowadays. And they don't allow their child, like my best friend doesn't allow her child to have any tablets or any computers or anything like that unless it's for school or on the weekends. And even that's after she goes outside and plays. Like, what I don't understand is why parents think it's okay to keep their children calm and to keep their children out of trouble by just giving them a computer screen or a tablet or their phone. Yes, it helps, but you're just masking a problem in the end. In the end, your children are just gonna not listen to you. And that's clearly showing with these Momo thing, with this Momo whatever. It's clearly showing that your children have no respect for their parents anymore. Sometimes I hear children just badmouth their mom. I've seen a child physically smack their mother and make fun of their mother in front of me. And all the mother does is, no, That's not okay. That's not right. When does your relationship with your children come into question? When your child thinks it's okay to allow this screen to tell it what to do. When the screen is like, no, you should go chop all your hair off because I'm going to come and get you. No, that child should have fear, yes, because that's scary, but should be able to feel comfortable enough with their relationship with their mother or their father to tell them what just happened. How many times do parents always say, don't talk to strangers. If someone talks to you, come talk to us. What happened to those days? What happened to those days when we had to go tell our parents when something was wrong? Nowadays, parents are just masking everything because they're too busy with their own fucking lives and they're too addicted to their own fucking TV screens and their own fucking video games and their own fucking bullshit. And then they cry later when their kids don't respect them. No, you're doing that to yourself. You're doing that to the society. Like every time I see these kids nowadays, everybody's going to be like this, all hunched over on their fucking things. And I'm not denying that I'm just as bad. But if I had the choice to go outside and be outside and go for an hour walk, you better fucking believe I'm going outside over my phone. You better believe that I'd much rather spend time with my friends without my phone than on my phone. I get desperate and I get bored. But when your children think that that's what they need and that's the only way that they will calm down or because they don't listen to you or any of that, come on, wake up, people. Wake up. Enough is enough. Technology isn't everything, and you will never have a relationship with your children. Your children will no longer have respect for you. Like, my mom is one of my best friends. My dad is one of my greatest heroes. You know, and I can sit beside my dad and we can just watch movies all day, and that's fine. Same with my mom. We don't have to be sitting on our phones. We can be together and not have that crap, you know? And sometimes it gets to the point where it's like you don't even see people conversing. It's getting to the point where children don't know how to be, or they have conversations with you and it's always about video games or this about this Instagram person or this person or that. When there's so much more to this world. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but creativity has gone out the fucking window. There's no child out there anymore. Well, there are children out there because there is still, but the mass majority of children can't even pick up a guitar, nor have the inclination to want to pick up a guitar or paint or anything creative. The creative mentality is slowly slipping away, and that creative mentality is what we need to drive this world. Because we're just going to end up computers and computer brains if we don't stop this. There's going to be no more arts. There's going to be no more creativity. There's going to be no more intelligence. All I keep seeing in my mind is that movie Idiocity with Luke Wilson. Because that's what it's going to end up with. We're going to end up with such a stupid community because we believe fucking computer screens. We believe our fucking screens. Like a picture that pops up. I remember being a kid and having things happen where, you know, you got this thing pop up on your dot screen or your old freaking green and brown freaking screens, and you know, all of a sudden you got your printer going and your CD trays popping in and out. Like, I remember those days and you were so scared. You were so scared and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I get it. It's scary. And I'm not saying, and I'm not taking that away. But I mean, if someone were to come knocking at, or saying that they're going to come knocking at my door, you better fucking believe I'm calling the police or talking to my mom or my dad and my brother and saying, listen, something's happening. We need to talk about this, or someone's coming, something happened on my computer. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how many times I went running to my brother for shit on my computer because I just didn't understand what was going on. But I have a relationship with my brother. I have a relationship with my mom because when we went somewhere, we were told not to do something and we listened. Okay, yeah, it might have taken us a couple spanks in the bum back in the day if we didn't pay attention. Or we did, or if we didn't, my mom would be like, you know what? You're not going to get this. And when she said no, it was no. Not nowadays, where you have to bribe your children in order for them to stop behaving a certain way after you've asked your children permission to stop doing something. No. Stop asking permission of your children. You are the parent. And the fact that you think it's okay for your child to be in their room on their computer or their laptop or their video games or whatever so that you're left alone, then maybe you should have thought about that before having kids. Okay? If you didn't want to have the parenting responsibility of, sitting on the couch with your children, reading stories to your children, spending time with your children, teaching them how to be decent fucking human beings, then maybe you shouldn't have had fucking kids. Plain and simple. If you didn't want to take that time out of your life for children, then don't open your fucking legs. Don't put your dick in crazy. Don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. Because you know what? That's not their fault. That they think it's okay. Okay? That's not their fault. The fault is of the parents, that they use technology to shut their kids up. No, that's not okay. Your children aren't learning anything at that point. They're not learning how to be creative. They don't know how to pretend. They don't know how to go to their room with nothing. They don't know that anymore. And that's why they go to their room, they get fixated on these things. Well, mom pissed me off. This computer's my best friend. This is my best friend. That's my best friend. And that's where things get wrong and things happen, and that's not right. And I shouldn't be like, I know I sound like a heinous bitch, and I do apologize, 'cause I'm really not. And everybody has their own way of parenting, and I just know for me, this is not the life that I want for my children. I do not want my child to be out in public and be crying and having a hissy fit because they want my phone or they want my tablet. I want my child to be able to sit there and be creative. I want my child to sit there and use their imagination. I want my child to be able to be comfortable in silence and be comfortable and listen. The sense of accountability nowadays is gone. Kids don't know it because they don't know how. They don't know anything. They think they know everything, but they know jack fucking shit. And these parents that think that it's okay to mask everything just are adding to the problem. And you're adding to the society of idiocity. And it's sad that that's the world that we're going to live in. And what happens when things crash or the kids don't have internet or things? They freak. Because they don't know what else to do. They don't know, they don't know nothing. They don't know how to pick up anything and create something. I remember being a kid and, not having much at my grandmother's house and picking up an old shoebox and making a cash register out of that. Nowadays, no, we'll just go buy you one. No, you don't have to. Let those children learn how to use their mind and use their creativity. Get them outside to play. Get them outside. Let them get dirty. Let them enjoy this world that we live in. Because despite what media is telling you, this world is beautiful. And this world is peaceful. And this world can be an amazing opportunity for your children to grow if you just let them. But you're teaching your children that it's okay to be raised by a computer screen. These children don't know who to believe. And the fact that these children think that it's okay, the fact that these kids think that it's okay to hurt themselves, to physically cut themselves or cut their hair or anything is not right. That's when you really need to question where your parenting comes into play. And yes, I feel extremely bad for those families who lost their children and that bad things have happened because of this Momo situation. But I really hope that this is a awakening call for those other parents who stepped up and talked to their kids, who stepped up and opened up to their children about the situation, and maybe stepped up to themselves and made them realize that this is not healthy. This is not okay. The fact that your children continue to think that screens and things like that are what's important, that's not okay. And I know I'm repeating myself and everything like that, and I don't get why it's okay. I don't get why people think that it's okay, that that's how you need to raise your children nowadays. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that you can't even go anywhere, and these kids are, the other day I was at I'm actually on the Azores Islands right now. I'm in Island Santa Maria, and I went to go watch carnival dances, and when I looked around, all I seen was the older people and older generations watching the carnival dances. These kids that were there weren't even doing that. They were on their phones. It's sad. It's sad to see. And they weren't even like, if they were on their phones recording the dances, okay, that's different. But they were on their phones not even paying attention. I don't know how many times I've gone to some dances and festivals. And the fact that people a little younger than me, when probably people that were born in the 90s, they don't even enjoy the traditions anymore because it's gross or it's it's not what they think is cool anymore. It's sad because traditions are going away, and traditions are who made us, who made our culture. And the fact that some people don't even know how to Portuguese dance, it baffles my mind, because that's something that we learned as growing up, and that's my traditions that my family kept in my blood. And I'm very thankful for that, because being on this island, I get to experience that, and I get to experience, my culture in such a different way. And I've learned so much. There's holidays that I didn't even know existed. There's traditions that I didn't even know existed. And it's been amazing to grow and to learn my culture as I go, and to meet such amazing people and things like that, and beliefs and superstitions and things like that. It's been amazing to know all that. So it's that thing where if we just opened our eyes to what else was out there, not even just in my culture, but other people's cultures, this world would be so much better, and it would be so much more open. The problem is nowadays is we have these social medias that all they ever do is feed bad news. As much as we think that we're getting this good news, majority of it is bad news. And majority of it isn't what we should be learning. And if it's put to good use, the internet is a great tool. It's a great way to learn, and it's a great way to expand for the right reasons. Not the reasons where it's used as a tool to shut your kids up. That's not a tool. That's your parenting. That's you asking YouTube or whatever to be your parent, is to parent your children, because you don't have the patience to do it. You shouldn't have had fucking kids. Sorry. You shouldn't have had kids if that was the case. Okay? You shouldn't have to rely on social medias, and you shouldn't have to rely on YouTubes and Facebooks and videos and all these things just to stop your kids from misbehaving. That's not right. I could be wrong, I'm going to probably get hate for this, and that's fine, and I don't give a flying fuck. That's my opinion. This stuff should not be a reason for your kids to behave. If you did your parenting right, and I'm not saying that, because there are great parents and shitty kids, and there's shitty parents and great kids. That happens. That's the world. It's the luck of the draw. But at the end of the day, if you tried your hardest to be respectful with your children and have your children respect you back, they don't need the social media. They don't need the screens to shut them up, because they respect you. They respect that you say enough is enough. You need to sit here. You need to stop doing what you're doing. There's the respect that the children lack. They need respect for their parents. I remember me and my brother would be wrestling in the basement. My brother would be beating the crap out of me. I'd be laughing at him. We'd be having a gay old time. A great time. And I would get to the point where I was maybe crying, because my brother toughened me up, and I'm fucking proud. But my brother, we would be beating up, and I'd be screaming like a fucking little girl. Ah! And we would hear my dad's footsteps and stop. And I was not abused. My parents were not abusive parents by any means. But the look that my father would give us was enough to scare the living shit out of me, to know that if I kept going, there was going to be a price to pay. That's all I needed. Was that respect factor. Was it. And nowadays, that doesn't even exist. That doesn't even exist anymore. There's no respect. Children have no respect for the parents, because the parents have no respect for themselves. They have no respect for their parenting skills. People read a damn book thinking that a book's going to tell them how to raise their children. I'm sorry, your John is not that Peter. Your Ashley is not that Megan, okay? Every child is different. Every child needs to know their own approach. And if you just took your time as a parent to see what your child needs, it'll go a long way. I had a client of mine. She was a retired grandmother, and she told me that she was raising she was homeschooling her grandson, who just so happened to have ADD. And I asked why. Why didn't you guys want to put him into school? And she's like, no, he was in school, but the schools wanted to drug him, and the mom didn't want to drug him. So it got to the point. It got to the point where the mom just didn't know what to do, because she felt very strongly about not wanting to drug her child, but the school was pushing it because of his misbehavior. So they did research, and they found out that for her grandson, the best thing to do was a subject at a time. Start with something that he loved to do and push through it. Keep going, and that's what they did. You know, this kid is freaking brilliant. He is so smart and so respectful. I've never met. And I would have never known that this kid has ADHD or ADD. I can't remember which level it was. Either way, a learning disability. I would have never known. I would have never known when that little boy came into my salon and he sat at that chair and he sat there like his grandmother asked him to do. Because he had respect for his grandmother. He had a calm mind because of the way that the parenting was involved. The parents took the time to understand their children, not mask the problem. And that's the issue nowadays, is people are masking the situation, and they're masking the problem, and that's not right. And that's not okay. You know, and I wish the world the best, and I wish the world and all the parents out there the best that they can do. And I know it's not easy, and please don't think that I'm saying that, you know, I'm going to be the best mom in the world. Fuck that. I know I'm going to have mistakes. Clearly, I have the biggest potty mouth in the world. I have the trucker mouth like nobody's business. And I know I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm human, and we all make mistakes. But one thing I do know is my child will not be raised by a computer screen. My child will have a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil in their back pocket instead of a telephone at the age of 5. You know, like, they don't need that. They don't need this. They don't. You know, and that's one thing that I know I promised myself when I become a mom, is that that's not going to be my children. And that's not going to be how I want to raise my child. Because it's not right. And I see the disrespect, and I see the disconnection from parents and their children nowadays. And it's sad. It's very sad. And I hope that this Momo thing stops. And I hope that this Momo thing doesn't take any more lives. And I hope that parents wake up. And I hope that parents see this as a chance to correct themselves and to change the way that they see social media as a parenting guide, or a parent, a co-parent would probably be the best way to say it. Because children deserve better than that. And you deserve better than that. You deserve to have a child who, when they get to an age, wants to be your friend, wants to be connected with you. Not when they get a certain age, is like, peace, we're not even going to take care of you, and I'm not even going to wipe your ass. You know, like, whatever happened to those days? Whatever happened to, you know, families taking on families and helping each other as generations went on? It doesn't happen anymore. It's sad when people wait for their parents to pass away for the money that they might get. You know? Think about that. Think about, that's how you when you materialize so much for your children and things become so materialistic for them, you know, when money